what is flow state psychology?
Yeah, flow state. I guess the most basic thing of flow state. I guess the most common thing is like the runner's high. Flow state, aka the runner's high. So when you go running, at the beginning, if you're running like doing a 3 mile run, at the beginning it's very painful. Like your body is screaming like, "Don't do it anymore, just rest." It hurts, but it hits a certain point, and everyone's different. It hits a certain point where it doesn't require any energy to make the movement. So you're just flowing through the movement. And so flow state, I studied under Steve Kotler. Steve Kotler is like one of three, he's an individual, but three different organizations that studies flow state optimization. So how do we enter flow state and be in flow state as long as possible? Uh, because when you're in flow state, you're a lot more productive. So if you can like 10x your productivity within that hour, and then you multiply that hour times the number of hours you work in a day, you can get a month's work of work done in a day, in a way, right? I am speaking in hyperbole, but within the program, that is a level that people strive for. Is how do you produce a month of output in a day? So uh, that is flow state. And so I guess some of the basics of flow state is like friction and lubrication. Anything that gives you friction in your life takes away your energy, and every action you do. Like if I wanted to look at a P&L report, it requires a certain amount of activation energy. If I'm really tired, it's really hard to get myself to do that because it requires this amount of activation energy, right? But if I just wake up, I'm really refreshed, had a smoothie, something like that, I have plenty of energy to be able to overcome the energy requirement to do the action. And so, in the flow state concepts, this principle of friction and lubrication is a concept that allows you to lower the activation energy of the action by adding lubrication actions. For example, if you want to go, we'll go like running again. If you want to go running, right? You may not run if you're like, okay, I want to go running tomorrow. And you wake up, sometimes you run, sometimes you don't. Versus you're like, okay, I'm going to run tomorrow. Where am I going to run? How much am I going to run? Let me set the clothes out to run. I have the clothes ready. I have the shoes ready. I'm wearing the clothes I'm going to run in. I have the socks on. So you reduce the amount of friction required, the amount of friction that's there that prevents you from doing the act, which increases the probability of you doing the action. And so if you extrapolate that concept to everything that you do in your life, you can create a scenario where things are easier to do, and the harder and the things, your addictions and your negative habits, you set up barriers so that you don't do them. You know,
Hmm.
so
Yeah, I guess if I think about it, it sounds like setting the environment, because yes, I mean I can think of even today there's certain things that kind of on my list are secondary priority, not super urgent, but they're kind of the same, they're nagging, and I don't want to go do them because I'm in a flow state somewhere else, and if I go pick up something like that, it's a distraction. And maybe it's a thing you can check off the list, but was it really? I'm just making this up, but you tell me if I'm right. It wasn't really in a flow. I went and let something distract me, probably pull me out of something else I could have been more productive on if I would have been stayed in that mindset or mind frame. Is
right.
that sort of what we're talking about here?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Okay.
And you can even take it like a step further, which is like having clarity of your goals. Like, um, I mean, you've started a lot of businesses. If you're very clear on exactly what you do, it's like a straight line to the end zone. Versus like, I think I want to do this, versus like maybe I want to do this, and you kind of sit in with the work and you just go all over the place. You're not singularly focused on the action, and so having clarity on like your long term goals, short term goals, your day to day goals, is also important as well.
So I assume that this is a big part of how you were able to take your singular practice and move it to two practices and really have set the goals in the environment so that you had the energy capacity. Because again, I'm just thinking, you've got two at home and your third one coming, and there's a lot of energy expenditure there. No, anybody who's raised kids know there's a lot of expenditure there when you're at home. They want you, they want dad, right? And so you can't go home and just jump on the couch and tell everybody to leave you alone. So there's that, so do you find there's times where you've just really focused on time blocks? Maybe it is, early in the morning before the kids are up, or before, you are due to be in the practice if it's a day that you're going in, and just really get focused on these are some major goals I have, and I've got to create that environment to get through and move through those, and then I can go to secondary areas of my life that maybe don't take quite as much focus. Is that part of what you put together here?
It's definitely part of it. I don't think I can give credit to it fully from that. Definitely, like when I work, um, because I can optimize flow state, optimize productivity, those things allow me to finish the things that I want quicker and get through the work, right? But I really have to give credit to alignment and clarity of all those around me. Like my family, my wife, everyone understands the end goal. Like everyone's on the same page and is rowing in the same direction. They know what I'm working on. They know what I'm trying to create. My team knows it too. And so a lot of that is leadership. I think. I think probably the majority of this is a leadership conversation, which is like, you know, uh, can I create an environment where my team wants to do the work and they don't give me all of the problems, they try to solve it, and you know creating a really good culture. So a good culture within the family, a good culture and a good communication network within the team, versus like some of the early days of like you see a fire, like I got to solve that fire, and you see another fire, you got to solve that fire, and I need you to do what I want you to do. I want you to do what I'm telling you to do, versus like, hey, what do you think we should do? Going from asking questions versus saying statements.
Mhm.
So it's really about like leveling up. Like I have a very strong intention to level up my family. Like I know where they are within their own progress. I think a comment that was really powerful for me was that I live by. It's like a mantra. It's the ones that are response able are responsible. And so I feel like I am blessed that I meet cool people like you and I learn so much from, that I have the self-awareness and the leadership skills to guide my family and my team, so that they can be the best versions of themselves to support the vision that I have. Because I guess I've dubbed myself the leader of the family or something, like, I like this direction. Let's go over here.
Well,
So
I'm gonna call Faustine and ask her if that's actually true, Peter. I mean, what we also know is that all progress begins by telling the truth, and I don't know if I can take you. No, I'm just kidding. Um,
she's not here. Who knows what
right here, I know.
on the internet now. So
Yeah,
she's gonna get to this eventually.
she'll eventually hear this episode, and she'll say, "Peter, what the heck were you talking about?"